And we are live. What's going on, everyone? It's Live with Kenny, episode 49. And today's video is going to be about, is America falling apart, guys? Culturally, economically, politically. Oh my God. This week has been a hectic week for me, and I'm pretty sure for all of you all as well. Thanks for all the wishes, you guys. The new job has been treating me great. But let's get back into what we're talking about. So I want to lead off with the Steven Crowder situation. I know I don't like talking about like people's personal lives, but it's sparking a debate online about divorce and men's rights in court. And I gave some comments on it on X. Maybe you guys seen it, maybe you didn't seen it. But I'll play a video from Tim, because Tim's been kind of on the center of this controversies because of some of the takes that he had about men's rights, how it's unfair that Steven Crowder is paying $25,000 to his ex-wife to essentially fund his own destruction, and how he's caught up in this extortion scheme. And I'll give you more of my thoughts about what I think is going on, my opinions about it, and generally my take on things. So let's get into this video, and let's continue.
The debate rages on. Who is in the right? Who is in the wrong? Steven Crowder versus Jared Monroe versus his wife. It is a nasty legal proceeding. And there's a lot of interesting information that's coming out, a lot of arguments being made. So while I covered this story earlier today, now that many people have chimed in and given their opinions, I think it's worth addressing the opinions of many of these individuals and giving them their time, because it's interesting. There is certainly a pro Hillary Crowder side, and even among conservatives.
And this is one thing. This is why I hate when personal things spill out into the matter. Sorry, Tim can be a little long-winded, so I'm gonna skip ahead. But my thoughts on this whole situation is I don't take sides here. But from my understanding, if I was a betting man, I think Crowder's on the right on this. There's just too many evidence. There's too many circumstantial evidence that leads me to believe that Hillary's just doing this for extortion. I believe Steven Crowder's claim on this. Now, I don't have to justify it. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, Steven Crowder's a perfect man. He's a perfect this. He's never done anything wrong. Steven Crowder could be the biggest a-hole on the world. He could be the meanest, baddest character on the conservative movement. But right is right and wrong is wrong. And I believe Hillary Crowder is on the wrong on this. Because if you look at it from like a point of view, she put all this out into the public, because a lot of these women that's been coming out, and this is an indictment against, like, I think Lauren Southern, Cindy Watson, all these libertarian women types. This is where their liberalism or their leftism shows. And this is kind of breeds into this higher point that I've been talking about, how feminist culture is that essentially conditioned in the modern woman, that she believed that she should have no skin in the game. She believes that she shouldn't have any consequences for her actions. Hey, you don't want to be around the guy anymore? Leave him. Leave him and his money. Because this is the difference between men and women. And this is why I think women can't seem to understand. Is that when a man is done with a relationship, he doesn't want your money. He doesn't want to try to extort you. He doesn't want to try to take your dog. Right? Men just leave. Look at Look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady and Gazelle. Tom Brady was in a position where he could have gotten alimony. He could try to get all that stuff because he made less money technically. But he didn't. He just like, hey, look, I just want to end the divorce. And the divorce ended fast. But look at the Steven Crowder situation. All the women are trying to use emotionalism to justify, oh my God, you want to leave a mother out there for nothing, with nothing? I'm like, no. What you came into the relationship is where you leave with. You're not entitled to have his stuff. You chose to break off the divorce. This is all I say this is that divorce is an ugly thing. As a child of separated parents, I saw it firsthand. And this is why I kind of skeptical of, what's her name? Hillary Crowder. Because I saw my mom do the same thing firsthand. Dad was a good dad, perfect. All of a sudden, you're not with him. He's the meanest man ever. He was so abusive. He yelled at you. Right now, we have it on video. But that's fight. That's spats. That's fights. I yell harder against my younger brothers. But all of a sudden, if you yell at a woman, oh my God, he's so abusive. I yell at my sister like that sometimes when she gets annoying. Oh my God, Kenny, you're so abusive to your sister. What? I don't know, man. The idea, like these women who try to put this victim narrative over Hillary Crowder, trying to make her to go out to be the victim, as if she had no consent in this, as if Crowder forced her to be a stay-at-home mom. Let me ask you something. Do you have to, like, if you were married, if a woman was married to a rich man, does the rich man have to convince the wife to be a stay-at-home mom? No, I think most women will just willingly do that of their own accord. There will be no arm twisting. Feminists even know this. Feminists in their manifestos and all this stuff, they talk about how they should ban the right for women to stay at home. They should force women to work because the allure of staying home stress-free is too captivating for women. And the idea that, in all this, Hillary keeps getting Clinton, but it's Crowder's ex-wife consented to this. She chose this route. And when you make a choice, you must accept the consequences of that choice. And this is a bigger problem that I've been hinting at, and I think this is why our American culture is kind of falling apart culturally, is that we don't hold any expectations with women. At one hand, we're going to say, they're 18, they're grown, they're just as capable as a man in anything they do. But at the same breath, when it's time for them they get the same accountability, the same responsibility, the same negatives of their equality, all of a sudden they're not like men. When a man makes a choice and he makes the bad choice, everyone accepts that he must take responsibility for the choices he made. Hey, it didn't work out, you lose half your ish. Okay. Hey, it didn't work out, you're homeless on the street. But you see how the risk doesn't apply the same? Oh, she gave up her career. Well, he gave up time with his kids. You think it's possible to be a good father, be at 100% in your kid's life and also make $1 million business? No. But no one sees from the father's side of this. And this is the funny part about divorce court. And I'm getting not emotional, but as a kid from a separate, I saw this firsthand, man. That's why I don't believe these little games. She put out an edited clip. She put it out first. Oh, he's so abusive. I couldn't take it anymore here. And then the funny part is she deleted videos from both houses. Only that edited clip she put out there to make him the bad guy, to paint him the bad guy. Same tactics, same smear tactics my mom did to my father. This what led me my distrust for women. Because I saw my mom switch on my dad like that. I was like, what? And this is not good for the kids. Because at the end of the day, all these people, no matter whose side you pick, this is not good for the kids. Because I feel for those kids because I was in that situation. I felt like I was a pawn for my mom's vengeance against my father. And I felt guilty. Every time I saw my dad struggling, I felt guilty in some way. That, I'm the reason my dad's going through this. If I wasn't born, my dad wouldn't be suffering right now. Because women weaponize the justice system against their fathers. This is why I want reform. Women can't sit around complaining about equality. I want to be treated just like a man, but you don't want to take the consequences the same as a man. When a man makes a bad choice, he loses half his ish. You don't think men like getting half their money taken away? Yeah, you have women in the comment section on X talking about if a wealthy man makes you sign a prenup, that's a red flag. What? What kind of idiocy are we speaking out now? Conservative women, y'all starting to show y'all little colors a little bit. Some of y'all anyway. That y'all not really about family. Y'all really about yourselves. Women seem like they're only about family because they get some benefit from family. While men say, hey, look, family for family's sake, it has to be an equal deal. It has to be beneficial for both parties. It's not beneficial for both parties to be in this arrangement where one side is incentivized to break it over the other. Because if I make the circumstances about a wealthy woman, hey, do you think a wealthy woman should be paying child support? Halle Berry. Women go, oh my God, that guy's just living free off her money. And I go, look at the hypocrisy. Many women are doing the same thing to wealthy men, but you don't hear women complaining about this. This is my problem with the Crowder situation. Halle Berry's the perfect example. All these women talking about, I make more money than men. More men can't keep up. Okay, your ass is going to start paying child support. Your ass is going to start paying alimony now. And it seemed like these things will only change once women finally suffer the consequences of those choices. But they're not suffering it. Because they don't marry men who don't make less money than them. They don't marry men that make less money than them. Women find a lot of, the dating pool it sucks out here. We can't find economically attractive men. And this is the product of an materialist culture that we live in today. This is what happens when we live in this hedonistic, fast food culture that we have right now. This is microwave culture that we're living in right now. People don't have patience anymore. People don't have perseverance anymore. People don't know how to stick things out anymore. And this is the result of our divorce culture that we live in today in America. Fault divorce needs to come back. And Crowder situation is the big is. If you need a shining example of why we need fault divorce, Crowder situation is the perfect example of this. Because this lady is trying to character assassinate him in public opinion. And yes, I believe Crowder's side on this. I don't care how you feel about him personally. Look at the functionality of the evidence. She put out a clip that showed her in a positive light. And I know one thing, humans aren't 100%. There's no such thing as a human that's 100% good or evil. I believe all of us are decent people. I'm not naive enough to believe, oh my God, she's the woman, oh poor single, poor stay-at-home wife that's getting $25,000 a month. Now I went on a tangent. Let's continue. I finally found a part.
And I believe I have it here. And he does have this video. It's 32 minutes long. And we'll show you the argument made from Crowder. I'll then respond to some of these posts. And this is the argument here is about father's rights, child support, the current legal system, and who's at fault. We have many people who are defending Hillary Crowder who are saying that Steven Crowder is abusive. He has a rage problem, and he has a very heavy-handed business practice of trying to restrict and go after other people. Jared Monroe clearly has motive to try and cause harm to Steven Crowder, as it appears, according to Jared's own statements, they are in a legal dispute for business reasons. I think that alone makes it inappropriate for Jared to contact Steven Crowder's ex-wife and work with her in any capacity.
So this is about Hillary's dad. I don't know how you go so far as to try to destroy your former son-in-law, but it does look like an extortion thing. Like, it's a coincidence only up to a point, right? What a coincidence. Jared comes out. He wants to break his NDA, even though technically he did break his NDA because he only worked for one notable conservative guy, Steven Crowder. The father just text message of her being in the same group chat apparently with the father. And she said, oh, I didn't say that. My dad said that, but you didn't speak out against it. Silence is compliance, right? I don't know. Too many things fit in. It's too many coincidences for you guys to think it's just for people to brush it off. But this is the media. This is the cultural landscape we live today. Is that people would hop on a bandwagon if it means your destruction. They don't care if it's false information. They don't care if it's lies, a libel. They just want to see you destroyed. They want to see you miserable. And people that don't like Crowder automatically believe Hillary. Or if women who see themselves in Hillary, see themselves like, oh, if I was ever in this situation, I would want people to stick up for me, so I'm going to stick up for her. And this is how a lot of women are taking this. Women are in their emotions over this because they empathize with her. But I think it's only from a subjective point of view. I don't think a lot of women are looking at this objectively. I can keep bringing up the Halle Berry point until I'm sick in the face. When it happens to Halle Berry, when her husband, who just laid up in the house, didn't do anything, stay-at-home dad, women were disgusted to find out he was getting paid alimony. They were like, oh my God, that's her money. How could he get all this money? But they don't have the same, they're not objective. They don't call it down the middle the same way when it happens to a man. And I believe lawyers are the only ones that's benefiting from this. And this is why I said there's an incentive for divorce to happen, because the lawyers for both sides know, hey, we're gonna get a big payday if we pin these two people against each other. If you are like, this is one thing I will say. If you want no fault divorce, it literally has to be no fault. Like, you guys should be able to handle the divorce amicably, because if you cannot, this has been the biggest like brain fart I ever seen in my life with the divorce court. Women go, oh, we just grew apart. We went our separate ways. In my head, I assume, okay, no hard feelings. It just didn't work out. You should be able to resolve the divorce amicably. But that never happens. So obviously it's a fault divorce. But we just lowered the standards. And what happened when you lowered the standards? Chaos. Now look what's going on. Just wrecking these kids' lives. Because end of the day, I think Hillary's father, Crowder's ex-wife, is being selfish here, because these will hurt the kids. Because the kid's going to go back and say, oh, your dad was a monster. Oh, look at this video. Oh, this is your dad. Oh, I heard your dad's abusive. Oh, you was a... Bruh, all this dirty laundry for what? For some short-term money that the ex-wife will probably blow through because she didn't earn it. Sorry, I'm just being honest. Hillary Crowder won the lottery. And based on the statistics with the lottery, probability ain't on her side that she'll keep all the money that she made from Crowder. I mean, she's getting $25,000 a month, and she said that she cannot live on that and that she has to get a job. What job you know is going to help you if you can't even make it on $25,000 a month? And then it's so many comments that I've seen, and all I see is just pure emotionalism.
In a divorce, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it outright. Disagree with me if you'd like, comment below. But if Steven Crowder's in a legal dispute with Jared over business issues with Jared says, that's his video. He had issues pertaining to ownership of equipment that was his, and Crowder's trying to take. That's his view. I don't have the receipts. I don't know who's doing what, but this is the argument. He's in a legal dispute with Crowder and then makes contact with Crowder's ex-wife. That is teaming up in two separate legal situations. And then you have the statement from Jared saying he doesn't want Crowder to see his kids. Now it looks like a personal vendetta for...
And this is another thing, and I just want to make this quick point, and then I'll get right back into the video. This idea that a man is like guilty until proven innocent, a man is inherently bad for his kids until proven otherwise, is a sickening thing that's in our culture today. Because to me, in my personal situation, my dad was the best thing in my life. Now, I'm not saying my mom was abusive, but I knew for sure that I would be a lot better off if I was with my father the whole time. That's like a teacher's yearly salary. Yup, in a month. But she says she can't make it. She can't live off that. But back to the point I was trying to say is that Hillary is not taking into consideration, not Hillary, sorry. Women are not taking into consideration the fact that the damage that this has done to marriage. All these women are not complaining about conservative men. They're like, oh, what's going on with conservative men? Oh, conservative men are so bad and toxic, and they wonder why women don't embrace the conservative movement. And it seemed like, no, it's not that the conservative men are like hostile to women. It's the fact that, hey, you need skin in the game. Like, it can't just be you get all the benefits, but there's no sacrifice on your part. There's no cost on your part. Where that at? Where that makes sense? You can't make a man responsible for something without giving him authority. And you can't have authority over something unless you're also responsible for it. You can't have bodily autonomy in one hand, but then no responsibility for your autonomy on the other. Make it make sense. You want to be treated like a child. And this is what this whole divorce proceeding has become, because all these women running to her rescue, woe is her, mad that Crowder's filing for full custody, but they don't look at it on the other hand, trying to demonize Crowder. Oh, Crowder only wants to file full custody because he don't want to pay child support. Let's inverse it. Hillary Crowder only wants full custody because she wants to maximize child support. No one looks at the woman's side with scrutiny. And like I always said on this channel, I want to call it down the middle. I want to be consistent. That's the principles I hold myself to, and I want you guys to hold me to. If I don't care about your race, I don't care about your gender, I don't care about your sexuality. Wrong is wrong. Principled position, consistent position. You can't be like, oh, it's okay when the women do it, but when it happens to the man, oh, it's context. There's exceptions. Either you want the equality or you don't. And it seemed like they just want all the benefits with none of the risk. The price of freedom is responsibility. You're free to do whatever you want, but when you do whatever you want, like divorce your wealthy rich husband, and your wealthy rich husband doesn't want to give you money, and you had no money for yourself, and you're saying you're just gonna leave me out here? I sacrificed so much for you. No, you sacrificed for your children, which is what both of you guys did. The father sacrificed time with the kids so he can make the money, so you don't have to make no money and you can save time with the kids. Trade-offs. You bring something to the table that the person cannot bring. I don't have time to be with my kids. My wife has time to be with my kids. She made a conscious choice. She made a conscious decision. We both agreed, and we made our lives around that, because my wife is a stay-at-home mom as well. So when I see all these women bickering and crying, oh my God, she had to give up her career. What career would have been able to help her compete with Crowder on the legal fees? That's some of the justification these women are reaching. And this is how you know this is all based on emotionalism.
Business reasons, and he is using a divorce proceeding to take it out on Crowder. That's just how it appears. Tell me I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'm just saying. Why would he get involved in this? So, of course, Gerald mentions that Hillary's father says he's trying to destabilize Steven Crowder. Hillary and Jared met in Atlanta to discuss their strategy and took this picture. You can see a text message saying, I have tickets to the aquarium. We'll pick you up. Sweet.
And it's funny how there's evidence out there, like literally Crowder's side is able to document, hey, look at all this evidence here that you cannot deny that there's a possibility that this is an extortion attempt at me. This is a way of defaming me hurting my images. And this is how short-sighted, and this is why I'm saying this is how short-sighted Hillary or Crowder's ex-wife is that you're trying to destroy the man where your money actually comes from. He's the one that's generating your money. He's the one that's generating the $25,000 a month for you to live off of, and then use the money to attack him or pay for your lawyers to attack him, to slander him. Apparently, her lawyer is the same lawyer that went after Trevor Bauer. Kill him PR-wise. You want to do that to your ex-husband who your money is coming from, and then when he can't pay your $25,000 a month again, you want to call him a deadbeat father? Make it make sense. Counterproductive stuff. This is why, in my view, if I were to reform divorce court, like let's say if I were to allow no-fault divorce, there should be a hard limit. Because some of the numbers don't make sense. Why am I paying a woman $25,000 a month so she can raise my own kid, when wouldn't it be cheaper if the kid already stays with the father that has the money already, and he just pays for a nanny to take a caregiver to watch over the child while he goes and make his money, leaving the mom to figure out for herself? She still get her little money. She still get her settlement. One possible step that I think could be possible for reform in divorce court is that before you divorce, you have to make an agreement up front, like almost make an inherent prenup. Like, hey, you can't get married unless there's a inherent prenup here. Some religious people can take that as a sacrament, like, hey, whoever divorces first has no entitlement to the estate. Women ain't going like that, because based on the bound of probabilities, in general, women, don't get mad, in general, women divorce first. Women file for divorce. Women gets bored of marriage first. And even psychologists prove it too, that women are more susceptible to negative emotions. They're more likely to be bored. So if you hear that, you're more likely to be bored. Does it make sense that women 80% of the time file for divorce? I'm just saying.
It's thanks. There's, I don't know what that is. Is that a cake or something? It's something that says, how he changed my mind. And they have this photo together. Jared's text, any scenario where Hillary and I team up is the end of him, Stephen. And it's his worst nightmare. Watch the real fear enter his eye when Tim asks the question. I don't know who Tim is. I don't know what it's referring to. Jared, I don't know. Jared to Hillary. I think this is a scenario where several of us would be willing to attest to all of that. I just don't want him anywhere near those kids. That really, really disturbs me. Why is Jared getting involved in
like imagine, I can make the same argument about Hillary. Oh my God, they just gave primary custody to that woman. Such a sexist court. A woman that had a nanny part-time, stay-at-home mom, but you have a nanny part-time. Oh, you're still recovering? Okay, that's fine. Oh, wait, what? Was that the nanny spent almost full-time hours taking care of the baby while Hillary Crowder did whatever? That was a court document somewhere. I forgot. It was a confession that the nanny made, that she said, oh, no, I primarily take care of the kids. I'm the primary caregiver, not her. That's where the $25,000 is going to pay for your lifestyle. It shouldn't be. We should relabel child support, because when my mom was getting child support, I rarely saw that money. I remember I used to ask my dad, like, Dad, I need a computer. My dad like, yo, I'm paying child support. Tell your mom to buy you a computer. And my mom will start complaining, make up some excuse. Oh, I can't pay for stuff. I'm like, yo, my mom got a spending problem. And I assume a lot of this stuff is being misused. A lot of this child support stuff is being misused for things that's not meant for the child. It's essentially in secret, and we all know this. Let's stop. Women, stop lying to yourselves. Child support is really just an extra income or extra reason to give the wife money. That's all it is. Because if the government was really serious about the money being used for the best interest of the child, they'll put it on some debit card where it could be tracked. But women don't like that. Tell women, oh, for the best interest of the child, the husband has to pay the wife money to take care of her own kid. Okay, let's track all the money and make sure it's actually going to the child. No! All the women will screech. That's accountability. That's the responsibility that I'm talking about. You can't claim, hey, we need this money for the child. And then when we say, okay, let's track it to make sure it goes to the child. Oh my God, you don't trust me? Why you got to put that? What if I just want to treat myself with the money? It's not for you. It's for him to take care of his child. And I hate this idea too. I think child support should not apply to married people, because the idea that a father would just stop paying for their kid just because they're not with the mom anymore, that never happens. That rarely happens. I feel like it's more likely for a woman that to happen to. How many cases you seen women kill their kid when they find out the court gave custody to the father? Women are the leading cause of infant mortality, the biggest perpetrators of infant deaths when they are killed, when they are assassinated. There's numerous stories of women neglecting their children. But yet in people's psyche, they still say, no, young children should still stay with the mother. I can make the same argument. The same argument that people are making that Crowder shouldn't see his kids. I can make the same thing about the mom. Especially given the information I know of her. You pay a full-time nanny while you're a stay-at-home mom. I understand if Hillary Crowder was working, you need a full-time nanny. But you're a stay-at-home mom and you need a full-time nanny. If you listen closely to the video, Crowder was frustrated with his wife because he said that she wasn't performing her duties. Imagine Crowder wasn't paying the bills. Imagine Crowder was out here drinking and doing F-all, gambling money, all this stuff. Women will, and Hillary Crowder was yelling at Steven Crowder, you're not paying the bills, you're not taking care of the household, you're not being the man of the house, you're not living up to your responsibilities. All the women on X will be cheering her. But because Steven Crowder chastised his wife and said, hey, you're not living up to my expectations of a wife, you're not fulfilling your wifely duties, you're not cleaning the house, you're not really doing anything, because that's what the fight was about. That he was calling her lazy, essentially. The women don't focus on that. Oh no, watch it. Steven Crowder said, watch it, when she tried to insinuate that he would hurt her. And he was like, yo, where's this coming from? Oh, we would have had better context. Right now I'm making assumptions. We're all making assumptions here. But I would have had better context if Hillary Crowder didn't delete all the videos from the two houses that Steven Crowder and her lived at. I'm just saying. I mean, if there's 100 videos, it's like the January 6th all over again. January 6th, Democrats give you a selectively edited video out of 44,000 minutes or hours of video from January 6th. They give you two minutes clips of everything that proved their narrative about what happened in January 6th. Tucker Carlson gets the rest of the January 6th footage, and you saw a completely different narrative about how January 6th actually went down. How I know this is not a similar situation going on with Crowder, but all the women jumping around to protect the sisterhood, and this is my biggest problem. This is why you got people like Pearl who said that women shouldn't vote. This is why you got people like her saying that, because y'all do this duplicative stuff like this. I don't know, bro. I'm done. I think spending 30 minutes talking about someone else's life, I think that these people deserve privacy, but I know it's impossible. These are public figures now, right? Hillary Crowder thinks that she can get an angle off of this, and women are noticing. And I'm moving on to the next segment. Another reason I think America is falling apart culturally is that women are starting to notice that there's a grievance that's starting to rise up out of men, and I think women had the luxury of being oblivious to it, that they were going like this, like they weren't seeing what's going on. But now it's just getting too much in their face about it, like the Crowder situation. Women are like, what's going on with conservative men? Conservative men must not like women then. No, conservative men don't like duplicitous women. Conservative men don't like unprincipled women. Women that in one hand would chastise a man if they were in that situation with Hillary Crowder. If Steven Crowder, let's say Hillary Crowder was the one with the platform and Steven was the one putting out all her bad laundry out there, people will be like, oh my God, he's trying to smear his public facing wife. This could destroy her career. Everyone is understanding of the woman's side. But when it gets to the man, all of a sudden you hold them to a higher standard. This is the idea of we treat women like children. And women are starting to notice like, yo, what the hell's going on with conservative men? No, conservative men is like, yo, no, like we want you to live up to the standards that you put everyone else on. There's expectations for you. Conservative men are the men that are willing to do that, and now women are mad, apparently on X. The Cindy Wilsons of the world. Oh, what's going on with conservative men? No, we want you to meet standards. We have standards for you. That's what's wrong with conservative men. It seems like women don't like standards, but they love giving standards. If you can't take what you dish out, women, don't do it at all. You have high standards? Okay. Conservative men giving you high standards too. Oh, you want this life? You want to be a stay-at-home mom, but you're not cleaning the house. You want to be a stay-at-home mom, but you're not even taking care of the kids. I'm talking about Hillary Crowder now. This is why I don't have no skin in the game, but if I were to pick a side, it would be Steven Crowder's. I seen it too. Hey, look, and I acknowledge my bias already. That I come from a household that was separated. I was my mom got primary custody of me. My mom got child support. My mom bashed my dad in the court of public opinion amongst our family. I saw it firsthand. And I knew it was BS. And literally, I'm seeing the same situation playing out right in front of my eyes with Steven Crowder. And seeing how people are quick to jump on all the men that hated my dad, all the uncles that had problems with my dad, jumped in. Oh yeah, I knew he was always like that. They're doing the same thing with Crowder. And it just exposed to me how bad of the incentive that divorce court has. That's why sometimes I can't blame the red pill guys when they doom about red pill and a marriage and all this stuff, and now it's a bad deal for men. And me, I'm like, okay, I want to fix it. I want to do something about it. I want to reform it. I want to fix it. I want to change the incentive about it. And I just think one cultural incentive will be like you see this forgot her name. The Lauren Southern of the world complaining about, okay, no wonder women don't want to be traditional. If this is what it means to be traditional, then F it. You mean consequences? You mean cost? You mean pros and cons? Oh, who would have thought? There's no perfect solutions in this world. And that's something I think a lot of women need to understand. That they think, oh, there should be no risk for me. No, there should be risk for you. And I guess men are tired of it now, especially white males. What is going on with the emerging adult white males between the ages of 18 to 29? And this is a ex post from the Redheaded Libertarian. What's going on with white males between 18 to 25? Let's check out the video, and then we'll go into some of the comment sections, and I'll give my thoughts.
Adult white males between the ages of, say, 18 and 25 to...
The economy sucks. You're probably never going to buy a house. Your degree is useless and left you in mountains of debt. You're nowhere near capable of providing for a wife and kids, and you can't imagine yourself settling down with any of the women in your age bracket anyway, because Disney princess programming and feminism has left them fundamentally unwifeable. You've grown up in a culture which has celebrated every other form of identity besides you, and in exact proportion to how much they're not you, to the point that now schools and companies can hire based on that metric, all the while being told you can't complain or notice any of it because of how privileged you are. And if you don't know how privileged you are, it's because of your privilege. Even though you're basically a debt slave with minimal hope of a financial and familial future because your economy and culture has abandoned you. So a lot of dudes just checked out and started like smoking weed and playing video games. Some of the other ones went to countries where they like white people and men, like Thailand, I guess. And some of them were like, you know what, this is a good challenge. None of it makes sense. It's all going to shit. But fuck it, I want a big house, and if you come on my land, I'm going to shoot you with guns. I want a bunch of kids and a wife churning butter. I'm going to make it happen, you fucks. Tell me.
Adult.
Yeah, so there you go. So, and he said nothing but facts in my view. I couldn't disagree with anything he said. All right, it's harder to make it out here. Biden's inflation ain't helping, right? I'm being honest with you. I met my wife when I was 19 years old. We've been together 5 years before we actually married, and I met my wife before Tinder, 2015. I think Tinder took off around 2015. So I met my wife right before Tinder really became a thing. And I believe that destroyed everything. And there's one thing I always told my wife, if we ever have a daughter, I'm not raising her with the princess mentality. Because I met too many girls like that with the princess mentality, especially if they only grew up around girls. Oh my God. To me, the best women from a personality perspective is the ones that had brothers. Because the brothers taught her a lesson like, hey, we and you ain't the same. I'm just being honest. I found myself, I get along with women that tend to have brothers. And my wife has like what? 4 brothers. 4 brothers. She said, yeah, I know I can't fight a man. Like, I don't know. I just think girls that grew up with brothers or with a strong male authority in their life, they understand boundaries. And I think a lot of women that grew up around just women, they don't understand that. Right? So, Clanstenstein, I'm 32, live in Northern Virginia. 90% of women in my age group are brainwashed liberals. As you can tell, Gen Z women are more liberal than Gen Z men, even though most Gen Z men are in the middle. That's the funny part. Gen Z men are in the middle. I thought it was bad in our 20s. Gen X had it relatively easy. We haven't hit peak Marxism. Gen Z is getting the full force of it. And honestly, I feel bad for these younger guys. I honestly do feel bad. I'm 27, so I'm right there with y'all. But like, if you look at me from like a cultural, maybe life phase wise, I'm a little ahead. I'm ahead of most people my age at 27 years old, right? No one wants to admit it, but men are being prosecuted, discriminated against en masse. We're talking about systematic stripping of power. Look at the divorce laws. Look at even from a cultural perspective. Look at Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder is a perfect example of that. How easy it is for a man to just be out of favor like that. But a woman, let's say a woman was acting just like Steven Crowder, it'll be tolerated. It just depends on how attractive she is. That's another truth that it seemed like people are not noticing, right? And that's why I put that girl on the video, noticing. This is exactly what's happening. My son is 20 and his entire peer group talks to me very openly about exactly this. This is a crisis that isn't happening while our government is incentivizing only minorities, and most of the existing black population here just continues to destroy, I guess, continues to this diatribe of white privilege that clearly doesn't exist. My son is better received by women in third world countries. He would rather go farm there than deal with OnlyFans poly women in the US. Now, that's a small percentage. I don't think that's all women, but that's the narrative, and that's the brand that Western women are giving off. I remember I did a video about British women and how Muslim women said, you want us to assimilate to British culture when women dress like this? And I was like, yo, these women dress like they're prostitutes. Like, they dress like those girls in the hood I used to pass by and be like, oh shoot, that's prostitutes over there. Let's move over here. Girls are out here dressing up like, yo, like you pay me $300 and I'm gonna go to the car with you. And they think it's cute. And I think it's due to the fact that we allow our culture to like raise our children. And I think this is what happens when you don't have a society that has a strong nuclear family. Right. And I think we have to focus on the social fabric of our country, of our society, of our communities, because I believe the main reason why America is falling apart is because we have no cultural values anymore. We don't have no principles. We don't have any ideals anymore. And that's why I like Vivek. I think Vivek is the future president. I think if we wanted to really restore our social fabric, if we really want to come together and be a stronger America culturally, because like they say, politics is a downstream of culture. And I think that we can't really fix anything politically until we fix stuff culturally, right? And I think that's the angle I'm trying to go off in this video. So I want to highlight another thing that's kind of pushing a cultural divide in our country is the education system. Now, I told you guys that to me, if you told me what is the biggest issue for the future of America, it's education. And Dr. Phil has a mic drop moment about the hypocrisy of the elite institutions in our country, especially college education, which college university, who overwhelmingly go to college? Women. And women are getting brainwashed with these ideas and these concepts, because for every 100 men that go to college, there's 142 women. So women are disproportionately going to college. Men don't see the value in college because I think, it doesn't have no ROI. Then these same women are going to come in with a baggage of financial debt that they can't pay off because majority of people who graduate college do not work in the field that they got the degree in. So why are y'all like, why? So to me, it just showed me that majority of people are going to college just because that's what they're supposed to do. When they say women are like the weaker sex, this is what I'm talking about mentally. They're more easily impressionable, manipulatable. And I think this is one of the biggest problems. I think until women start taking ownership for themselves and starting to understand that, hey, I'm responsible for my action decisions. It's not the fault of someone else, because this is how they propagandize women. They go, oh, it's not your fault. And that feels good. So women goes with the path of least resistance. And this is how they fall into this death spiral of unaccountability and chaos that is leading to the downfall culturally of our country. At least that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts. So let's hear what Dr. Phil got to say about the university system.
I think a lot of these elite universities right now are not teaching critical thinking. You've got a lot of this ideology that it sounds to me a lot like socialism, sounds to me a lot like Marxism, teaching that we're going to be successful when we have equality of outcome. That's insane. Like, you're never gonna have.
And I think this is the biggest point I think that's really tearing apart America's culture, is this idea that of equality of outcome, that we all deserve to have the same outcome. A stay-at-home mom deserves the same outcome as a married man, right? So let's say you're Steven Crowder, you're worth $100 million, right? Because you both are married, equal outcome says, oh, you guys are divorcing, you both supposed to get only half of that. Damned if the money was generated mostly from Crowder. Damn that. No, you split it equally. Socialism. This is what I'm saying. Divorce, in a way, is socialism. I remember I made this point. I think I made it in my video with RFK. When RFK announced his VP pick, how she got her money. They call her a tech entrepreneur, but she didn't make her money in tech entrepreneur. She became an entrepreneur after she got her money. How she got her money? Divorcing a Google co-founder who was worth $121 billion. Now you see how she's able to just throw money at RFK's campaign for the Super Bowl and all this other stuff, because she don't respect the money, because she didn't have to earn the money. This is one of my biggest talking points against socialism, Marxism, progressivism. All I call them is looters. They're people who take credit for your work, right? That's a socialist. When you have a good idea, you mention it. Oh, I like the idea. They take credit for it. That's a socialist. You did all the work and then they want to sit there and pretend that they did it all along. That's a socialist. Socialists are looters. They don't produce anything. They take what's already been produced and claim that they did it. They tax the rich. The rich don't pay their fair share. How much the rich got to pay? The rich pay 70% of the taxes in America. This is why the politicians listen to them more than they listen to us. That's why they got so much power, because the rich can go, they can shrug their shoulders and be like, we holding this whole system up. God forbid we leave, huh? We'll do anything. We'll leave a tax break for you, Obama. People complaining, Trump 2016, 2015, he paid zero taxes. Who was president? Obama. Because, look, Democrats is the party of the elitist. And I think if the Republicans are smart, they are, Trump at least, you model yourself as the party of the working class, as the common man. Because at the end of the day, I don't care how much money I make in my lifetime, how much success and notoriety I gain. I want to consider myself equal to everyone in this country. Right? I don't think I'm better than anyone. Even now, like, technically, I could come across that way because I'm in a good financial position. I have a lot I could brag about. I'm 27 years old. I own a house, married, 2 kids, stay-at-home wife. So I'm hinting at that I make a lot of money. But I still, no, I don't forget where I come from, technically. I was taught to treat everyone with respect because everyone deserves respect until they tell you otherwise, until they prove to you otherwise. And that's how I want to carry myself forward. Because I think that's what we kind of need. We need a leadership that considers the common people. Because there's no camaraderie. Because the elite look at us like plebs, right? Joe Biden and them on their fundraiser. I might show that video if I have enough time. Him, Obama, Bill Clinton, surrounding a room full of celebrities. Stephen Colbert moderating their discussion, bashing Trump. Biden raised $26 million in a single night. And then all the Democratic plebs that voted Democrat in 2020 are outside shouting, talking about they need a ceasefire, but they don't hear them. That's what I'm saying. The politicians of today are acting like noblemen in the middle age. It's craziness. If you look at politicians and see how they talk like a Gavin Newsom, how they can break COVID protocol and they think it's fine, but you do it, you're going to jail. Nope, the politicians are treating themselves like nobles. This is why they don't want to retire, because they feel entitled to this country. They feel entitled to federal power. They don't see themselves as the servant of the will of the people. They see themselves as the leader of the people, which is not the case in a republic. You're a representative. You're not a leader. And I think this is one of the biggest things that's breaking apart the cultural fabric of the United States of America, is because these people filter this into our education system, condition us to see them in a certain light, and then decide to get away with sending money to Ukraine, Israel, even at the pushback against the people, even though the people don't want to go along with it. They push it because no, they'll get in line eventually. Does that sound like someone who serves you in your interest? No. It sounds like a nobleman who said, no, I know what's best for you. And the education system has conditioned people to trust the authorities. Don't question the authorities. According to the CDC, it's perfectly healthy that a trans woman can breastfeed her baby. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. The authority said the climate change is a serious problem in our country, even though these climate change experts have been wrong for 100 years. But I point that out. I highlight that. And someone in the comment section said I gave a brain dead take. Imagine that. Elite institutions have told people to value their feelings over facts and evidence. And that's how you can get someone on my comment section on the Destiny versus Jordan Peterson video and said that my takes made him brain dead. But he didn't tell me nothing he disagreed with. He didn't tell me I was wrong in anything. No, my takes are brain dead. Because I don't care about climate change. I care about climate danger. I care about how the climate is, how a climate's condition is dangerous to the human condition, to human beings. But if you told me, hey, you want it hotter or colder? I want it hotter. I live off of the heat. I can't live off the cold. But I digress. Let's let Phil wrap up here.
Have a quality of outcome because you have different qualities of input. You have some people that work hard. You have some people that don't. You have some people that are smart and talented. You have some people that aren't. You have different levels of input. You're going to have different quality of outcome. And when you've got universities that are teaching, which seems to me to be astoundingly hypocritical, you've got elite universities that are charging hundreds of thousands of dollars for an elite education, and then they're teaching that there should be a quality of outcome. Well, if that's true, why am I paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars for an elite education?
Got him. Right. And why do some people pass and some people fail? That's inequality. You don't hear these people. And this is the funny part. I feel like there was a video I watched a long time ago where they did this, where they told, oh, you like socialism? Yeah. I believe I believe in redistribution of wealth. They were all for it. Then the guy said, okay, cool. Since you're all pro redistribution of resources, let's redistribute your grades across the classroom. Oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, that don't seem fair. I worked hard to get this. I studied 9 days. Oh, but you don't think that's the same thing applies with money? Baffling to me, right? And this is the article I was talking about. Despite the current job market, less than half of recent graduates, 47%, has been able to secure full-time employment in a job related to for what they studied for. So that means what? 63% of people in college are wasting their time because they're getting a degree in something that statistically they may not even work in. But I digress. Let's go into something less political, less, ideological, because, I want to mix it up on this channel too, right? Because I think the cultural stuff is more relatable. I think you guys don't really based on my 2 years on this internet grind, I noticed you guys don't seem to really engage too well with the idea stuff, the conceptual stuff. I mean, y'all in a way y'all still do, but I'm gonna try better to connect it to cultural things that's going on today. So we got Whole Math on today, and we're going to talk about regulated marketplace and the unregulated marketplace. And I want to show you how conservatism, from a conservative culture perspective, what happens when we're in a moral culture? When you have a moral culture, a culture based in morality, it's inherently a regulated marketplace, right? If you don't have morality, aka you're amoral, or morality is subjective, right? You got these moral relativism that the liberals and the progressive left push, where all morality is merely subjective. Oh, you believe in that doesn't mean it's good or bad, right? You can believe murder is good and I can believe murder is bad. We're both valid. That kind of thinking, yeah. You get an unregulated society, right? And dating in a way is a scale version of how society operates when you have bad incentives in the society. And I believe politics operate the same way, because remember, politics is a downstream of culture. So we have a dating culture where it's pushing for chaotic, unregulated. The strong has all the reward, and the weak get nothing. You're gonna get a political system like that, or at least in a way. But I digress. Let's get into the video.
Do you think guys have always had 5 to 10 girlfriends at the same time and we're just now noticing because of social media? Or is that like a new thing that we're just supposed to get on board with?
It depends what you mean by used to. This is more recent in our history, and this is farther back. But if you don't like this model of guys having 5 to 10 girlfriends, either because they're attractive or because they have money and power, then you shouldn't be posting videos like this, because that is a big part of what has moved us from a regulated economy where people tend to...
So I wanted to regulate economy. What do you mean by regulate economy? Shame, right? Enforced monogamy. These things that women complain are bad. Rules, right? Principles. These are rules. Rules, structure. Conservatism is based on structure. How can you play a game if you don't know the rules? It'll create like, imagine we end up playing something and we don't negotiate any rules of the game that we're trying to play. And you decide to do something, and I say, that's a foul. You go, what? How is that a foul? Because we never hashed out the rules of engagement for the game. This is how society is right now. You're saying Christ is King is anti-Semitic, but you don't, and people are trying to have a discussion with you, and you're like, no. I just feel that's wrong. I just feel like it's wrong. I just feel like it's anti-Semitic. How? How is it? Oh, context matters. Huh? This is what I'm talking about. You're trying to regulate the society in a way where you can weaponize your ethnicity and use it as a cudgel. This is what the Ben has accused black race hustlers doing for years, and they're trying to employ similar tactics in a more moderate degree. Regulated marketplace, right? But my question here is, like, let's look at the results. Are women happy with hookup culture? No. Many women complain. There was some viral thing that I remember hearing Brett Cooper talk about, how women, when they get that text from the hot guy and they know, oh, he's gonna come here in a smash, and they feel that sense of dread. I'm like, bruh, you proven what the Bible's been saying for a long time, bruh. You gotta wait until you're married. You don't have sex with just random dudes. No, girls can have sex with random guys, detached, without any attachment. Okay. But you feel a sense of dread when you get that text, that booty call text. If a dude get a booty call text, he's like, oh, I can't wait. A woman get a booty talk text, I feel so used. He's going to use my body and discard me. I want a relationship, but I still want to have sex with this guy because he's the hottest guy I've ever been with. He's a strawberry blonde, 6'5" baseball player for the college baseball team. I have to sleep with him. He looks so good in my arms if I'm able to get him. This is the game. This is what happens when you don't have shame, rules. Because what women will do, just like they did back in the old days. And this is why I'm saying, a culture without morality is a culture that's regressing backwards. That's what I'm realizing here. This is the I guess the result of a secular society. A society with no principles or moral North Star. An unvirtuous society. And now, I'm not saying you have to be religious to be virtuous, but religion is the first ideology that makes the claim that, hey, human beings cannot live in a morality of their own making, of their own rationalizations, because then they can justify any actions that they're doing. Women, this is what you're doing here. Oh, I want to sleep with the hot guy. I don't want to be judged for sleeping around. But then here comes the negatives of that. Men don't take me seriously. Men don't want to marry. All I get used is for my body. I feel bad after. No man want to date me. I only pay attention to the top 20% of guys. I think if you go on a dating app, only 20% of the men have any interactions with about 80% of the women. That means most of the women are fighting for the same group of men. But if it was a regulator, okay, you're with this person, you're with this one. Sure, you don't get to play around and sleep with the 5 hottest guys in school. You only got to pick one. And it goes back to discipline. Our culture lacks discipline. And this goes for all of us. Me, men, women, conservatives, liberals. We lack discipline. We don't want to sacrifice anything anymore. We want our cake and eat it too. This is the kind of culture that has been incentivized and been pushed on us because of social media. And remember I said, women are on social media a lot. So women are getting programmed this idea that they can go out, put tight clothes on, market themselves sexually, and then they get mad how they get treated like a sex object. Imagine that. You market yourself as a sex object, you got treated as a sex object. If I went around, I wore a blue shirt with a badge that made me look like a police officer, and people kept stopping me and saying, Kenny, look, well, police officer, this man's robbed me, go get him. And I'm like, I'm not a police officer. Why are you dressed like one? Why are you marketing yourself as one? Just because I wear a blue shirt and a badge and a hard hat that kind of look like a cop doesn't mean I am. This is the games that women are playing. And I'm not saying on women only, but for the most part, this is the kind of the behavior that I've seen from women, because in our society, we have coddled women. We treat women like children. And I've been saying that, like, until women are properly treated like the adults that they are, our society is going to continue backsliding. Our society is going to continue falling apart. Because one thing I know about children, being a father of 2 kids under 4 years old, they're unreasonable. And what happens? There's only 2 choices going to happen. Either the reasonable person become unreasonable and you got chaos, or the reasonable person leaves the unreasonable person alone to his own destruction, aka timeout. Women, you're going to go on timeout. Unreasonable people, you're going to go in timeout. And then you're going to make your bed and you're laying it. Okay, you don't want to follow monogamy? You don't want to commit to one man? You don't want to be loyal to one man? Okay, we'll leave you for the streets. We'll let the red pillars deal with you. We'll let the Myrons use you as his 50th body count, because you're just a number to him. You're not anyone to take seriously. We'll leave you to the wolves. And then after you get ran through by them, you're going to come back to good men that stayed in church, that actually practice their faith, that actually believe in God. And then you want to come back as a repackaged, oh, I'm a born again virgin. No. As a conservative man, I would not allow any man to do that. No. If she wasn't living the same path you were living, don't date her. Sorry. Don't marry her. Sorry. Don't be with her. She don't deserve that. Now, it gets into this philosophical debate about redemption. Kenny, do you believe in redemption or not? And in a way, I do, but if it's genuine. And redemption has to be proven. You got to prove your redemption arc. You don't just, okay, I'm sorry and I forgive you. No, you got to prove it over a period of time before I can accept your redemption. Okay, she's redeemed. You can go with her because she's proven, right? Action. There's evidence that she changed. Not, oh, I said I changed and I'm still doing the same thing. There was an OnlyFans girl that recently converted to Christianity, and all the women immediately embraced her. Oh my God, we're so happy to have you in Christ. And I'm like, she hasn't done anything yet. You already rewarding her just for proclaiming. That's the first step. Now she has to live it. And it has to be at least for a couple years before I'll actually believe her. And this is what I'm talking about, that Christians are a little bit too tolerant of people. If the people even is adjacent to them, they want to accept them. Nah. Oh, I digress. I went on a long rant on that one, but let's continue.
To match 1-to-1 over to an unregulated economy where the strongest man just wins all the options. In nature, only the strong survive. Males have to fight for access to females. So in nature, the stronger males get more females, like is happening to us now. Walruses are famous for this. They average 1 male to 23 females. And when we used to live in nature, we would do that too. But this was really unpleasant for everybody except the top males. None of the women are happy because they have to share men, and these guys are really not happy. So we came up with enforced monogamy, which is based on things like shame and rules, and that helps keep people paired 1-to-1 rather than just getting everything that they can get unrestricted. So in an
Yeah, pretty much, right? And this is what I'm saying, like for the common good, you create an environment that's beneficial for all parties involved. Now, this is one of the arguments that I have against the red pill, that I said there's an incentive, there's a conflict of interest here for the red pill, because if the red pill actually solve this chaotic, unregulated sexual marketplace that they're benefiting from, right? They get to sleep with a horde of women. It's like candy. They get to pick. Oh, I want a Chinese today. I want a Latina today. I want a Mexican. I want a Haitian, Jamaican, maybe an American. You know, they get to pick. They get their pick of the litter, and then the bottom 40% of men are like, "Damn, bro, I can't. I can't even get a date." And what's going to happen? An unstable society, because eventually, as you saw from the video prior with the white dude talking about how, yeah, there's no point. I'm just gonna, play video games, smoke weed, chill, and watch society collapse. There's no incentive for the bottom 40% of men to strive forward, right? And then instead of like looking at it and say, maybe we got to change the incentive structure in society. No, men get shamed and said, no, you got to man up. You got to do more. You got to be better. I understand that message to a point, to a fault, but it's like a chicken or the egg problem. And to me, I was like, yo, what happened first? Was it men's weakness that caused this? Or was it women just doing stuff in the benefit of themselves at the expense of their communities, their families, their country? What happened first? I don't know. But I do know this, the selfishness of man. Like, if we go by our carnal desires, we're going to go into, we're going to regress back to caveman days. The Middle Ages, the nobles got to sleep with all the women, hoping to get a baby by him. We do this already. Like, women are already doing this. Like, history is repeating itself. Give me a pro-choice woman and she get pregnant by a famous, wealthy rapper. She keeping that baby because there's a material gain for keeping that baby. And I found out something's funny. I think someone made the argument. The number one reason why many women are pro-choice is because they just want the ability to erase a mistake. AKA, I had a baby by the wrong man. AKA, this baby doesn't benefit me or in any way. I get no props. I get no status for having this baby. I want to erase my mistakes. AKA, avoid accountability. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're treating women like children. We're conditioning women like children. Our education system's not helping them either. Women are empowered, AKA, when they say empowered, AKA just boost their self-esteem to the point they got a big head, a big ego, that they don't have the ability to actually defend in a way. And this is where we get the culture we got today.
Forced monogamy culture, you would typically be discouraged from advertising yourself to a wide audience and getting loads and loads of responses and then offering your attention only to your favorite ones, because we knew in advance that when you do that, and her, that you all tend to respond to the same few guys in your inbox, but it doesn't work the other way around. Powerful men have always collected women throughout history. Solomon from the Bible is said to have had 700 wives and 300 concubines. There's your vocabulary.
1,000.
In the story Scheherazade, the king would behead his new wife every day and get a new one. So we're familiar.
Ain't pump and dump, literally, except the medieval version. Off with your head. You're old. You're too old for me now. You don't get it. You don't do it for me like you used to. This is our version of ghosting. Literally, he made her a ghost. It's funny how history repeats itself. It don't repeat itself. It rhymes though. Conceptually, it's the same. After the top guy is done with you, the rich, successful guy that you kind of dated, and you try to make him your boyfriend, but he never really saw you that way, and he stops calling you, stops texting you because he got tired of you, for whatever reason. Women are literally setting themselves up back for this kind of thinking, this kind of environment. But you think they care? No. Because right now they see too much in the short term. They live too much in the present. I heard a saying. I don't know if it was a Haitian parable or something I heard down the line, but it says that men focus too much on the future and women focus too much on the now. I mean, right now, young women benefit from it, but when you get older, you ain't gonna benefit from this. Oh my God, it's so hard to date out here as a 40-year-old single mom. Duh. Have you been seeing TikTok lately? I digress. Let's continue the video.
Familiar with this kind of behavior. So when you say, is this new or has it always happened? It's kind of both. This is what happens when you don't have rules to stop it from happening. So yeah, we used to be more like this just 10 or 20 years ago, but now that we all have these little rule avoiders, it looks like we're stuck like this until we can either figure something out or until you guys stop doing this.
Yep, advertising your sexuality, and then why they only use us for our bodies, right? This is this is why our culture is falling apart, man. Right? It doesn't help that liberal teenagers report having a significantly worse depression, right? And this is due to social media, I think, too, as well. It's almost like obsessions with activism and gentle parenting isn't particularly good for mental health. Right? All this, I brought this up before in videos. Woke people are more likely to be unhappy, anxious, depressed, new studies suggest. And everything that the left push literally fractures and destroys societies, destroys culture, destroys countries. This is why socialism don't work. But you think they care? Nope. All they care about is destroying America. That's all they care about.
You're over here appropriating a space for your own personality.
I'm a journalist.
You're not a journalist.
How do you decide who's a journalist?
I mean, considering I was fired as a journalist, you're no journalist.
Literally, would you rather be itchy or sick your whole life?
You're not doing this for what the actual conversation is, which is getting rid of this country.
Getting rid of this country?
Getting rid of America, getting rid of the West. This is what this is for.
You want to get rid of America?
Yes.
Yep.
Everyone here understands that at some level we need to get rid of America completely.
What should we
do? These people, they don't build anything. Like this is typical. This is my problem with socialists. Y'all don't build anything. Y'all always want to change rules. Y'all want to make rules, right? And then you don't understand why the rules were set up in the first place, right? You want to change something before you fully understand why that thing was there in the first place. This is the biggest problem with progressives. They value change more than reliability, testability, the validity of an idea. Oh, it's a new trendy thing. Let's just try it. Let's treat men and women the same. Women are just as capable as men in sports, in athletics, and all this. Okay, let the worst men in the world identify as women, and they become the top women player or sports player in the world, to the point where they can lose on purpose and still win in the end. This is the kind of I'm telling you, man. The Marxists are winning, man. The Marxists are winning. All right. Reject the idea that we can't talk about crimes because a disproportionate number of criminals are black. Law-abiding blacks stand to benefit the most from candid discussions on crime measures and will keep them safe from local degenerates. Right. Because DEI is back in the news again. Of course, guys, come on, guys. We can't go, a week without talking about race. It's craziness. So what sparked the DEI conversation again? Well, apparently Baltimore's mayor's being blamed for the Boston Bridge for falling down. That's where people would run to for freedom. China. Yep. Yeah. I mean, shoot. These people are so delusional. Like they'll try to convince you that China's not that bad. Right? It's not that bad until they beat your butt. But yeah, we're getting back into DEI. Right? If someone calls an official a DEI hire, they are mostly certainly referring to their race. Elected officials are not hired; they are elected. Yes, people chose them. So, and in effect, and I think I understand what people mean when they saying he's a diversity hire. Oh, you only elected him because he's black. You didn't say he was best for the job. You didn't think he was this. I understand all that, but the DEI discussion, I think, has become almost not toxic, but in a way, I don't know why black people are getting offended by it. When I think the very problem is, okay, just eliminate DEI, right? Because now this was something I highlighted in my previous race videos, my DEI videos, is that blacks' credentials are now being questioned merely because of the color of their skin. And in a way, DEI has almost reintroduced racial prejudice at a greater degree now on the average black person's life, right? When I say racism can't stop me, these DEI folks are making it really hard for me to say that, because they'll come in and say, oh, you only became successful. Oh, Kenny, you only got your opportunities or your handshakes in life because of DEI, because of affirmative action. That's why you're allowed to work. And I'm like, oh, so you're trying to take credit for my own success because you think you gave me an opportunity. But I digress. Let's get into this video.
Or Mayor Brandon Scott. I will allow you, Mayor Scott, if you choose to do so, to respond to the tomfoolery and attacks on you for having the nerve to be black and also a mayor.
Well, I think, listen, I know, and we all know, and you know very well, that black men and young black men in particular have been the boogeyman for those who are racist and think that only straight, wealthy white men should have a say in anything. We've been the boogeyman from them since the first day they brought us to this country. And what they mean by DEI, in my opinion, is duly elected incumbent. We know what they want to say, but they don't have the courage to say the N-word. And the fact that I don't believe in their untruthful and wrong ideology, and I am very proud of my heritage and who I am and where I come from, scares them, because me being at my position means that their way of thinking, their way of life of being comfortable and suffering, and while everyone else suffers, is going to be at risk, and they should be afraid, because that's my purpose in life.
Okay, so I don't like this. That's my purpose in life, to make you suffer and afraid. Well, if I'm looking at the crime statistics, you guys are already doing a great job at doing that without becoming mayor, right? But you know, some people might say that's racist, but that's the truth. If you take out all the black guys, if you take out black men, our crime statistics will go way down, right? Oh, America has high crime rates. Yeah, because we're the most diverse country on the planet, right? It's like this is in a way, it goes back into like the DEI discussion. This is why I say it's starting to become toxic, because now the left is trying to frame it as, oh, it's the new N-word. Saying someone's a DEI hire is a new N-word, even if they might be some validity of truth about it. But it's becoming almost like a go-to assumption on people's part, right? Just like it's racist or not racist, ill-informed to assume someone's capabilities just merely how they look. The opposite is also true, to assume that, oh, because of your skin color, I'm going to assume that you're a DEI hire because I don't like your politics, or I don't like how you run the country, or you made a mistake and I'm a conflate it. But there's some truth to the fact that we're not focusing on merit. And I think that's the biggest point with the DEI conversation that I try to highlight, at least with my videos, is that we're not focusing on merit. We're focusing on superficial BS that doesn't really get us anywhere. Like Tim Pool's laughing about women getting punched in the face in New York, which you get what you vote for, right? Because Democrats are more like, who's more likely to vote for a candidate because of their skin color? A Republican or a Democrat? A Democrat. And I think this is the point of the DEI conversation that people are trying to have. And I don't understand Anthony Bryan's point here, is that yes, he technically is not a DEI hire, but you can say that in a 61% black place that is very racially exclusive, right? Black people put themselves first and other racial concerns last. They don't care about the nation. They see themselves as black first before they see themselves as an American second. They tend to vote. There's a known image, there's a known concept and idea that black people tend to vote in this way because black people see color. So in a way, and I make this argument, if I was being objective here, black people are the most racist people in America, right? They're the most racial people because they see their stuff. Oh, how this is going to benefit us? They see themselves exclusively. They don't care about how it concerns the country as a whole. They want reparations even if it bankrupts America. So when you got a group like that, they're 61% of a district. They vote for someone that's of their kin. Now, the opposite argument would be true too, is that, if a white official makes it into politics and 61% of the district was white and he voted them in, is that white person a diversity hire? No, because we know DEI does not benefit white people. This is what I'm saying. Like, DEI is essentially creating racism for minorities to be judged on. it's a way to stop the high achieving individuals in a minority group from truly standing proud on their own 2 feet. Because you got people who doubt their abilities because they're in that collective group, which creates a negative prejudice. And I think that's the whole goal of DEI. Because they know, okay, we're gonna hire unqualified people who are black, muddy the waters, and now all of you guys are brushed in the same, all of you guys are painted by the same brush. This is the purpose of DEI. And it's sad to say, and this is why I push back against it so hard, because essentially DEI is a way to downplay self-determinism in a collective group. Oh, you couldn't bring yourself out of this situation. Look, you're a DEI hire. You only made it because you're black. You only made it because there's a bias against white people. I think that's the argument when people throw the charge DEI hire. And all the stuff that's going on, bridges are falling down, infrastructure breaking apart, planes falling apart in midair, people not meeting standards. It's just a whole, and then the fact that a lot of these corporations who are having these problems, these malfunctional problems, are so upfront about pushing DEI, it got synonymized with something negative. And I think this is why everyone has a go-to assumption that, oh no, it's because of this. This is why everything's falling apart. But I digress. I think that's all for me today. I appreciate you guys for coming through. Appreciate you. Shout out to Matthew M. Appreciate the comments in the live chat. Let me know your thoughts in the replay and what you guys are thinking. What was your favorite segment? I would like to hear more of your thoughts about it in the comment section below. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Happy Easter to all of you. Good Friday to you all today. And I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. Peace.